Hello, everyone. Before we get into the Bible, a quick update in my life. Have some family from out of town visiting with us today, so we went and ate fish. It was real good, and we chatted about their lives and stuff. Two of them were cousins that I haven't seen since before I left for Japan, and before even that, I think it's been probably about 10 years since I've seen my two little girl cousins. I mean, little girl. One's an FBI agent now, and one's like a nurse. So they're both like grown and out doing life. But I remember them as bibis. Of course, I was a little guy too at the time, but nostalgia. Other than that, things are going well. I start work Monday. Uh, Everybody asks me if I'm excited, and I'm like, I don't do that. I don't get excited, but I'm glad I have it. Lord provided. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue. Lose a job on Friday, get a job, well, start the hiring process for another job on Monday, and then 2 weeks later you're doing it. So I'm assuming at this point I'm where the Lord wants me to be for the moment until He tells me to do something else. So I feel better about my life in general at this moment than I have in a while. So even though I'm not excited about the job, I'm glad I have it. And I'm mostly glad that I feel like I'm where the Lord needs me to be. So on that note, it is time to read the Bible. February 21st, right? Yes, that is today. If I lose track of days sometimes if I don't have something specific. Anyway, so February 21st, we're doing Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1 to chapter 12, verse 8. Although we did have a little excitement last time in Leviticus, with two of Aaron's sons getting fireballed, so maybe something interesting will happen this time. I mean, not that I want people to die, but I don't really want to read nothing but rules for 20 minutes either. So I digress. Let's actually get into the word. And today we will speak in. We haven't done the gangster voice in a while. We'll do the gangster voice. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, tell the people of Israel that the animals which may be used for food include any animals with cloven hoofs which chew its cud. This means that the following may not be eaten. The camel, it chews the cud, but it does not have cloven hoofs. You know what a camel toe looks like. Don't tell me you don't. The coney, or rock badger, because although it chews the cud, it does not have cloven hooves. I don't know what that is. The hare, because although it chews the cud, it does not have cloven hooves. It's a rabbit. You don't eat rabbit and you're Jewish. I didn't know that. The swine, this one I knew. Because although it has cloven hooves, it does not chew the cud. No, it has like a nasty digestive system. It's pretty filthy. I don't blame the Lord for telling him not to eat swine back in them days. They'd have got sick more often. Anyway, so you may not eat their meat or even touch their dead bodies. They are forbidden foods for you. As to fish, you may eat whatever has fins and scales, whether taken from rivers or from the sea. But all other water creatures are strictly forbidden to you. So let's see, no eel, no catfish, uh, no sea urchins, no sharks, uh, fins and scales. No marine mammals like dolphins or whales. No sea turtles. Although it has fins and it has scales, maybe that would be an exception. I know it's not a fish, but it has the requirements. So I don't know. Maybe they could have eaten sea turtle. That'd been interesting. I'd have to ask a Hebrew expert, which I am not. I'm sorry I'm getting sidetracked. I'm trying to make this interesting with myself. Let's continue. You mustn't eat the meat
or even touch their dead bodies. I repeat it again. Any water creature that does not have fins or scales is forbidden to you. Among the birds, these are the ones you may not eat: the eagle, the meteor, the osprey, the falcon, all kinds, the kite, the raven, all kinds, the ostrich, the nighthawk, the seagull, the hawk, all kinds, the owl, the cormorant, the ibis, the marsh hen, the pelican, the vulture, the stork, the heron, all kinds, and the hoopoe. And the bat is considered a bird in this particular passage. I guess it flies. It makes sense. It's a creature of the air. So even though scientifically today it's not considered a bird, it still flies, and so it was separated here. So you couldn't eat them things. I don't know what a mid-tier is, but I knew most of these. No insects may be eaten. We will not eat the bugs, with the exception of those that jump. So you can eat locusts. Locusts of all varieties, in fact, ordinary locusts, bald locusts, crickets, and grasshoppers may be eaten. All insects that fly and walk or crawl are forbidden to you. So no bugs unless they jump. So grasshoppers, locusts, crickets, those kind of things. That's kind of interesting. So no beetles, no red mites. So that dye that's made out of red mites is bad. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't know why I find this interesting. I didn't find any of the others interesting, but this is interesting. Just because I'm curious what God was like. Don't eat that. That ain't good. And I've gone from a gangster to more of just like a Brooklyn guy with a horse. You know, it's like, yeah, you don't want to eat that. Let's go back to the mafia, boy. Anyone touching their dead bodies shall be defiled until the evening, and must wash his clothes immediately. He must also quarantine himself until nightfall, as being ceremonially defiled. You are also defiled by touching any animal with only semi-parted hooves, or any animal that does not chew the cud. Any animal that walks on paws is forbidden to you as food. So no cats or dogs or what have you. No bears, no lions. That's a lot of animals, honestly. I'm kind of surprised. It was. I'm listing those off. Those aren't in. He didn't specifically label any of those animals. He just said no paws. I was just trying to think of something besides dogs and cats. All right. And with the others, anyone touching a dead body of such an animal shall be defiled until evening. I mean, it's not a huge issue, even in the Old Testament. You weren't killed or anything. You just like quarantined. Anyone carrying away the carcass shall wash his clothes and be ceremonially defiled until evening, for it is forbidden to you. These are the forbidden small animals, which scurry about your feet or crawl upon the ground: the mole, the rat, the gray lizard, the gecko, the mouse, the lizard. Again? Oh, they make a distinction between the great lizard and the lizard. I guess they mean like a monitor lizard versus a little lizard. I don't know. I don't know what lizard they're talking about. Anyway, the snail, the chameleon. I keep going from like the mafia leader to his goons. You know, I don't know why. It just is easier to talk here than it is to talk here. I guess because this is more. It's putting more pressure on my throat, and it wants to not talk like this. But I want it. I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. Anyone touching their dead body shall be defiled until evening, and anything upon which the carcass falls shall be defiled. Any article of wood or clothing, a rug or a sack, anything it touches must be put into water and is defiled until evening. It gotta sleep with the fishes until evening. After that, it may be used again. If it falls into a pottery bowl, anything in the bowl is defiled. and you shall smash the bowl. If the water used to cleanse the defiled article touches any food, all of it is defiled. Any drink in it which is in the defiled bowl is also contaminated. This seems like the Lord is protecting them from germs. I'm not even kidding. This doesn't seem as arbitrary as it probably seemed to them. This seems like legitimately, if you don't do this, you're going to get salmonella or E. coli. And so the Lord is protecting his people. So that's interesting. This is probably the most interesting thing I've had in Leviticus so far, and it's the freaking food rules. I guess it's because I like to eat. I care about eating. It still pertains today. All right, let's continue. Obviously, we aren't bound to these particular food rules. Jesus said that in Matthew already. We know this. But this was him, the Lord, protecting his people before we had proper hygiene and such. Verse 35. If the dead body of such an animal touches any clay oven, it is defiled and must be smashed. If the body falls into a spring or a cistern where there is water, the water is not defiled, yet anyone who pulls out the carcass is defiled. And if the carcass touches grain to be sown in the field, it is not contaminated. But if the seeds are wet and the carcass falls upon it, the seed is defiled. If an animal which you permitted to eat dies of disease, anyone touching the carcass shall be defiled until evening. Also, anyone eating his meat or carrying away his carcass shall wash his clothes and be defiled until evening. Animals that crawl shall not be eaten. This includes all reptiles that slither upon their bellies, as well as those that have legs. No crawling thing with many feet may be eaten, for it is defiled. Do not defile yourselves by touching it. I am the Lord your God. Keep yourselves pure concerning these things, and be holy, for I am holy. Therefore do not defile yourselves by touching any of these things that crawl upon the earth. For I am the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You must therefore be holy, for I am holy. These are the laws concerning animals, birds, and whatever swims in the water or crawls on the ground. These are the distinctions between what is ceremonially clean and may be eaten, and what is ceremonially defiled and may not be eaten, among all animals' life upon the earth. We're still going. One moment, please. Refreshing. The Lord told Moses to give these instructions to the people of Israel. When a baby is born, the mother shall be ceremonially defiled for 7 days, and under the same restrictions as during her monthly menstrual periods. On the 8th day, her son must be circumcised. Then for the next 33 days, while she is recovering from her ceremonial impurity, she must not touch anything sacred, nor enter the tabernacle. When a baby girl is born, the mother's ceremonial impurity shall last 2 weeks. So less time. Oh no, more time. It's double. I misread. So 7 days for the boy and 2 weeks for the girl. During which time she will be under the same restrictions as during menstruation. Then for a further 66 days she shall continue her recovery. When these days of purification are ended, the following instructions are applicable whether a baby is a boy or a girl. She must bring a yearling lamb as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or turtle dove for a sin offering. She must take them to the door of the tabernacle to the priest, and the priest will offer them before the Lord and make atonement for her. Then she will be ceremonially clean again after her bleeding at childbirth. These then are the procedures after childbirth. But if she is too poor to bring a lamb, then she must bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. One will be for a burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering. The priest will make atonement for her with these, so that she will be ceremonially pure again. What you gotta do? That's what you gotta do. If you were a Jewish person back in the day. And I suppose now, I guess they still do that. I don't know.
One moment, please. We're not doing this voice anymore. All right, so Mark chapter 5, verse 21 through 43. We're just going to let my voice rest with my normal candor for a moment. When Jesus had gone across by boat to the other side of the lake, a vast crowd gathered around him on the shore. The leader of the local synagogue, whose name was Jairus, Jairus, I'm going to say Jairus, whose name was Jairus, came and fell down before him, pleading with him to heal his little daughter. She is at the point of death, he said in desperation. I can't help myself. Please come and place your hands on her and make her live. Jesus went with him, and the crowd thronged behind. In the crowd was a woman who had been sick for 12 years with a hemorrhage. She had suffered much from many doctors through the years, and had become poor from paying them, and was no better, but in fact was worse. She had heard all about the wonderful miracles Jesus did, and that is why she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his clothes. For she thought to herself, "If I can just touch his clothing, I will be healed." And sure enough, as soon as she had touched him, the bleeding stopped, and she knew she was well. Jesus realized at once that healing power had gone out from him. This is where we get the Jesus noticing, like, someone touched me. So he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples said to him, "All this crowd pressing around you, and you ask who touched your clothes? Or who touched you?" But he kept on looking around to see who it was and who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and told him what she had done. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, healed of your disease." While he was still talking to her, messengers arrived from Jairus. 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 That was the name I said. That's a hard name. It doesn't compute in my English brain. While he was still talking to her, messengers arrived from Jairus' home with the news that it was too late. His daughter was dead, and there was no point in Jesus' coming now. But Jesus ignored their comments and said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Just trust me." Then Jesus halted the crowd and wouldn't let anyone go on with him to Jairus' home except Peter and James and John. When they arrived, Jesus saw that all was in great confusion, with unrestrained weeping and wailing. He went inside and spoke to the people. "Why all this weeping and commotion?" he asked. "The child isn't dead. She is only asleep." They laughed at him in bitter derision, but he told them all to leave, and taking the little girl's father and mother and his 3 disciples, he went into the room where she was lying. Taking her by the hand, he said to her, "Get up, little girl." She was 12 years old. She jumped up and walked around. Her parents just couldn't get over it. Jesus instructed them very earnestly not to tell what had happened, and told him to give her something to eat. Psalms 38, verse 1 through 22. I think my voice is recovered enough to do a voice again. Who would be fun? I've never tried this. Okay, listen. "O Lord, don't punish me while you are angry. Your arrows have struck deep. Your blows are crushing me. Because of your anger, my body is sick. My health is broken beneath my sins. They are like a flood, higher in my head. They are a burden too heavy to bear. My wounds are festering and full of pus. Because of my sins, I am bent and racked with pain. My days are filled with anguish. My loins burn with inflammation, and my whole body is diseased. I am exhausted and crushed. I groan in despair." I can't quite get the timbre right. I'm trying to do Buzz Lightyear, and I'm not succeeding. I apologize. I suppose you wouldn't have known if I hadn't said that. Oh well. "Lord, you know I long for my health once more. You hear my every sigh. My heart beats wildly. My strength fails, and I am going blind. My loved ones and friends stay away, fearing my disease. Even my own family stands at a distance. Meanwhile, my enemies are trying to kill me. They plot my ruin and spend all their waking hours planning their treachery. But I am deaf to all their threats. I am silent before them as a man who cannot speak. I have nothing to say, for I am waiting for you, O Lord my God. Come to protect me. Put an end to their arrogance, these who gloat when I am cast down. How constantly I find myself upon the verge of sin. This source of sorrow always stares me in the face. I confess my sins. I am sorry for what I have done. But my enemies persecute me with vigor and continue to hate me, though I have done nothing against them to deserve it. They repay me evil for good and hate me for standing for the right. Don't leave me, Lord. Don't go away. Come quickly. Help me, O my Savior. I really wanted to shout that last part, but again, it's night and I live with others. All right. Finally, for this evening, Proverbs for today, chapters 10, verses 8 through 9. A wise man is glad to be instructed, but a self-sufficient fool falls flat on his face. A good man has firm footing, but a crook will slip and fall. All right. That's all for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, God bless. Ah, stupid. Mm. As always, God bless.